Hi children, today I am going to start history lesson and the title is National Movement, the Early Phase 1885 to 1919. How this national movement was started and how it was led by the leaders of national movement to get freedom from the British rule. That we are going to learn in this lesson. Now let us start. When Industrial Revolution started in England first and spread to all the other European countries, they were in need of raw materials for their industries, like textile industry, iron and steel industry, and for that purpose they started colonizing all the other continents. Even after they produced goods by using newly invented machines, they needed markets to sell their goods because the production was very fast by using machines. Lot of production was being made and they wanted to sell these products in international markets. So they needed markets to sell their goods and make profits. And that is why they started colonizing other continents. And by selling these goods in international markets, they earned much profits and wanted to invest this money in trade with other countries. An English East India Company was formed in 1600 AD and it came to India for trade purposes. And it took permission from the then emperor also, and slowly the Britishers established their rule in India and exploited all the resources and wealth in the form of taxes. They started ruling the country and they started imposing more and more taxes on Indians. They came to India in the name of trade, but they established their own rule and then they started taxing the people. And through these taxes, they started exploiting all the resources and wealth of the country into their own country. And because of the discriminatory policies of the Britishers, the peasants, the landlords, industrialists, all the sections of the society were exploited. And the first revolt against this British rule was led in 1857, which is famously known as the First War of Indian Independence or Sepoy Mutiny. It is also known as Sepoy Mutiny. You might have learnt about the Sepoy Mutiny in your earlier classes. And in this revolt, soldiers, ordinary people, ordinary peasants, artisans and landlords also took part. And all these revolted against the British rule. Though it was suppressed by the Britishers, the spark of nationalism continued and it took the shape of national movement. And it was called as national movement because it brought together all the people to a single platform. Irrespective of their caste, creed and religion, all the people were brought to a single platform to fight against the British rule. And during the late 19th century, the English education was spreading very fast. And the educated people opposed and raised their voice against the inequalities and injustices. Because they were educated, they could not tolerate inequalities and injustices done to the Indians by the Britishers. So, they raised their voice against the inequalities and injustices caused by the British policies. And they wanted a new democratic political order. They wanted democracy to be established in India. They wanted to fight for ending the British rule. And thus, a new consciousness began to develop among the intellectuals. Intellectuals means educated class. And during the second half of 19th century, this consciousness began to take roots. And the educated Indians, as a first step to reach their goal, what was their goal? To drive away the Britishers and establish our own rule in our own country. That was their goal. To reach their goal, they formed various associations. For example, Dadabhai Naoroji formed East India Association in London in 1867, and Surendranath Banerjee, he founded Indian National Association in 1870s. Like that, many associations were formed by them. M.G. Ranade, Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, Badruddin Tyabji, he founded Islam Gymkhana, and G. Subramanyam Iyer, he founded Madras Mahajan Sabha, and Keshav Chandra Sen, India Reforms Association. All these different associations were formed by the Indians. And all these associations tried to unite all the educated people to fight against the British rule. And though these associations functioned in different parts of the country, they were not limited to one region or one religion or one community. And they worked with sovereignty of the people as their main goal. Their main goal was that the people should be sovereign. That means the people should have all the power in their hands to rule themselves. The people should have power in their hands. And this goal was the key feature of Indian nationalism. And the leaders were successful in achieving this goal. And they also believed that people should be given power to take decisions regarding their own affairs. And many of these educated people, they led campaigns against some British policies like taxes on textiles, racial discrimination against Indians, repressive laws passed by the British against Indian newspapers. Against all these things, they led many campaigns. Now let us see what are the different associations founded by the leaders in India. Dadabhai Naoroji East India Association in London, it was formed in 1867. Surendranath Banerjee Indian National Association in 1876. M.G. Ranade Pune Sarvajanik Sabha and G. Subramanyam Iyer Madras Mahajana Sabha in 1884. And he also played a key role in the formation of Indian National Congress. And Keshav Chandra Sen India Reforms Association was founded by him. Now the Indian National Congress, the moderate phase. And with the combined effort of all these intellectuals, finally Indian National Congress was formed on 28th December 1885. And A.O. Hume, a retired British official, played an important role in the formation of Indian National Congress. And the first president of this INC was W.C. Banerjee. The first session of INC was held over in Bombay under the presidency of W.C. Banerjee. And this was attended by 72 delegates from all over India. And some of the early leaders of Indian National Congress were Dadabhai Naoroji, Firoz Shah Mehta, Surendranath Banerjee, R.C. Dutt, Subramanyam Iyer, etc. And major objectives of INC were, the first major objective of Indian National Congress was to unite all the people belonging to different castes, religions, regions together from all over India by bringing awareness among them. That was the first major objective of the Indian National Congress. Bringing awareness among these people about the need of nationalism and also about the discriminating policies of the British. And these leaders also realized that unity could be brought among different regions or people only when the requirements of these regions are met with. Each region has its own problem. And if those problems are solved, then the people living in that region, then they can take an active part in the movement. So with this aim, these Congress sessions of Indian National Congress were held in different parts of the country every year. And the second major objective of Indian National Congress was to create a common political platform or program on which or around which political workers in different parts of the country could gather. If there is a common platform or a common program, all the political leaders from different parts of the country, they can take an active part in the program or they can carry out their activities on the same platform. So, which could gather and conduct their political activities, they could educate the people also. And the third major objective of Indian National Congress was to promote or develop democratic ideals, that means equality for all the people. And the Indian National Congress functioned democratically, that is to say that considering the issues and problems of all the regions and people equally. And 1886 onwards, the Indian National Congress met every year in December in different parts of the country like Bombay, Delhi, Lucknow, Pune, Calcutta, Madras, Surat, etc. And the Indian National Congress got so much popularity that the number of its delegates increased to thousands. In the first Congress session, I told you 72 delegates attended from all over the country, and now the number of delegates increased to thousands. And in the beginning there were 72 and now it increased to thousands. Its delegates were mostly lawyers, industrialists, mostly educated people, teachers, traders, and there were very few women as delegates. For example, Kadambari Ganguly, who was the first woman graduate from Calcutta, she was a delegate of Congress sessions. Now let us see some of the important Congress sessions. and the years in which were held and the presidents of this Congress session. In 1885, it was held in Bombay. The first Congress session was held in Bombay, and its president was W.C. Banerjee. And he became the first president of INC. 1886, it was held in Calcutta, and Dadabhai Naoroji was the president of this Congress session. 1887, it was held in Madras. Badruddin Tyabji, he was the president, and the significance of this Congress session is Badruddin Tyabji, he was the first Muslim president of Indian National Congress. And 1888, the Congress session was held in Allahabad, and George Yule was the president of this session, and he was the first English president of INC. And in 1907, this is the most important session. This one and next one. These are two most important sessions. 1907, it was held in Surat, and Rash Bihari Ghosh was the president. And in this Congress session, Surat Congress session, Congress split into moderates and extremists. The Congress leaders got divided into moderates and extremists. I will explain who are these moderates and extremists. And in 1916, Lucknow, the Congress session was held in Lucknow, and Congress merger of moderates and extremists. These moderates and extremists who got separated in Surat session in 1907, they again merged together in Lucknow session, that is in 1916. And in 1917, the Congress session was held in Calcutta, and Annie Besant was the president of this Congress session, and she was the first woman president. 1922, it was held in Gaya, and C.R. Das was the president, and in this Congress session, Swaraj Party was formed by Motilal Nehru and C.R. Das. In 1924, the Congress session was held in Belgaum, and its importance is, for the first time and the last time, Gandhiji became the president of INC. In 1925, the Congress session was held in Kanpur, and Sarojini Naidu was the president, and she was the first Indian woman president of Indian National Congress. In 1929, it is also again the most important session. 1929, Lahore it was held. The president was Jawaharlal Nehru, and in this Lahore Congress session, Purna Swaraj resolution was taken by the leaders. That means they demanded complete freedom from the Britishers. 1939, it was held in Tripura, and Rajendra Prasad, who was the first president of India, independent India, he was the president of INC, and Subhash Chandra Bose, he resigned from Congress party due to differences with Gandhiji. And he formed his own party, which was called as Forward Bloc. And in 1947, that means the year of independence, it was held in Meerut, and J.B. Kriplani was the president. And after independence, the first president of INC was Pattabi Sitaramaiah. Now, there are three important phases in the history of Indian National Congress, and they are moderate phase from 1885 to 1905, and extremist phase from 1905 to 1919, and the third one is Gandhian era from 1919 to 1947 till independence. And during the first 20 years of its formation, INC was led by the leaders who are known as moderates. The moderates led the Indian National Congress during the first 20 years, that is from 1885 to 1905. 1885 the Congress was formed, and 1905 it is Vande Mataram movement or Swadeshi movement. Till that time, moderates led the Indian National Congress. And these moderate nationalists were Dadabhai Naoroji, R.C. Dutt, M.G. Ranade, Surendranath Banerjee, etc. And these moderates, they requested the government to introduce a number of reforms. And they also demanded for a greater voice for Indians in the government. That means more number of the word of Indians should be given more weightage. The decisions of Indians must be given more weightage in the government and also in the administration. That was their request made to the government. Now, we will continue it in the next part of the next class. Now, for the time being, I am giving you some homework. Read the part of the lesson completed, underlining all the important points with pencil. and learn the keywords in the material. Learn 1 mark and 2 mark question answers related to this part of the lesson which is completed today.